This is Simon Torres, Arsenal supporter of Charm City Gooners. You are listening to DU Football Show, and I'm here to tell you that it could be worse. You could be an Everton fan.
Not wrong. Not
very
wrong.
true.
not wrong at all there, Simon. Yeah, it's
my fearless leader spitting knowledge.
It was a weekend for Everton.
It wasn't a rave, let's say that.
I've put more shots on target than they did. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, with the man with the hair that ran. It ran so far away, it couldn't get away. My co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. You have no idea what I'm doing. Mel did.
Confusing.
Mel knew it.
It ran so far away it couldn't get away?
I'm quoting the lyrics from the Flock of Seagulls, the song. You know,
Oh.
the Flock of Seagulls with the epitomized
Idiot.
crazy fucking hair of the 80s.
Stupid.
It's just for you.
Thank you.
Especially because you had it pushed over at one point. It was kind of like sticking up and it was slick. And I was just like, the fuck is going on with that?
It's happening.
It's happening.
It's hip and happening.
I just like it. It's happening. That's
happening.
what it is now. Huh?
Somebody made fun of me for my man bun earlier. And I said, well, it's getting a little wild. And they said, well, they make razors for that. You can just, overrule it. And I said, well, it's ruled with this hair tie. It's contained all in one space. I don't understand what you mean. Why do I have to shave it to contain it? I rule it now.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Graham's about to become a fucking unicorn. Jesus. Should you want to chat with us, there's many ways that you can. Go ahead, brony. Tell everybody how they can get in touch. No, it's fucking ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not watching on the live stream right now, what Mr. Graham has done is taken all of his hair, pushed it to the front, and put it in a ponytail. He looks like he has a penis coming from his head. Tell the people how they can get in touch, penis head.
This should be this is like when Ronaldo cut his hair for the World Cup.
The little nub.
Yeah, the ball cap.
You're like the dude in Fifth Element with the little nub sticking out of the head.
Yeah, that's funny. I'll see how long I can stand this and then we'll figure it out. It's at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
Very good. Very, very good. Yep. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, we're visiting something from the top 20 list of last year. So why don't you tell us about what we got?
Yes, absolutely, I will. It is the Andalusia Whiskey Company's Stryker. That is their smoked American single malt whiskey. It is distilled and bottled in Blanco, Texas, USA, by the Andalusia Whiskey Company. Produces handcrafted malt whiskeys deep in the Texas Hill Country. I think Texas had hills. A scene reminiscent of the hills of Andalusia, Spain. Our grain-to-glass creations begin with a mash of the finest grains. They are double distilled in our copper pot still and then patiently aged in charred oak barrels. This particular one adopts the Scottish tradition of smoking malted barley that is destined to be used in their signature Islay scotches rather than burning peat. However, Stryker is mashed from malted barley that has been smoked in the Texas barbecue tradition with oak, mesquite, and apple woods. This is backyard barbecue whiskey at its best, my friend. Aw, thanks. Aged a minimum of 3 years in charred oak barrels. If I recall, this costs about $60. Is that right?
A little less, about 45 to 40.
Okay, there you go. It's delicious. It's weird at first. It takes some getting used to, because it's not like a mesquite smoke is really common amongst whiskeys. I know we recently had the smoke stock from Whistle Pig that I brought in that I represent, which is also delicious, but it's strange to get that sweetness up front that you do from using American barrels, right? That kind of caramel and vanilla kind of forward notes to then be followed up by smoke, which you expect to be peat smoke, but it isn't peat smoke.
Right.
So it's strange at first, but it grows on you very quickly. I finished my bottle of this fast.
Yeah. It's
very delicious.
It's very drinkable. It's It was number 20 on the list. It was actually the one that we opened with, and we even said when we drank it, we were like, man, may the rest of the list be like this, because this is fun. It's innovative. It's different.
It's also 100 proof, by the way. Forgot to mention that. Sorry.
Does not drink 100.
No,
does not drink 100 at all. And there's other people who I've seen use wood smoke, like that barbecue wood smoke kind of before, and it's been done to excess. This is done like a kiss. It's there, but it doesn't murder you. It's because let's face it, when you smoke, when you barbecue, the wood is very dominant in how you
big time.
and when you cook.
100%.
It really can be overbearing. And the other fun thing I wanted to do was just bring up the fact that American Single Malt is in the final stages with the TTB. Standards have been set forth. Those standards were heard to the public. They were passed and are completely now been accepted. And it's just a matter of the TTB basically writing the paperwork and officially publishing it. So I figure somewhere between December or the start of the new year, you'll officially hear that American Single Malt. And for me and what I do, obviously, with the brand I work with, Westward, is a very big deal that it becomes an official category and is recognized at the same level as bourbon, rye, and wheat are, Yeah. Oh. Anything else we should do, Mr. Graham?
Remember to drink responsibly.
How's about that? Let's go ahead and cheers, my good friend.
There we go.
All right, let's get to them notes. I'm all over the place. Don't mind me. I should be a little bit better organized, huh?
Yeah.
Just distracted by the dick coming out of your head.
Not anymore. I took it out. And people can see that now. You do well to remember.
It was distracting enough. We opened with two fantastic matches, both with great storylines. One storyline was goals. The other storyline was drama. Leeds 4, Bournemouth 3, Aston Villa 3, Man United 1. Leeds, they get the big win at Anfield. They're at home. All they got to do is get a nice, comfortable win against Bournemouth. Bournemouth losers of 4 in a row. This shouldn't be a problem. Everything's going to be okay. First minute in, you get a penalty, you score, and then they fuck it right off completely.
100%. It was calm as you like from Rodrigo, though, by the way. And Leeds did start on the front foot big time. Mm-hmm. But as you said, that was short-lived. Tavernier, after getting that first assist last week, after kind of starting to get waves of, we expected you to do more, turned on the fucking flare in the last 2 games here, right? He got that assist finally last week. Here, he adjusted his body and finished well at the far post to equalize. And Leeds looked shell-shocked at that point. And Bournemouth actually started to turn on the style. Billing finished well. Solanke just after halftime.
Another goal for Billing. And, and here's the thing. At halftime,
and what a fucking hammer of a finish that was as well.
At halftime, Elland Road is booing Leeds and booing Jesse Marsh because it was 2-1. It could have been 4-1.
Absolutely.
Like, Bournemouth had chances. And you said, Solanke finally gets one.
It was a lovely finish as well, just after halftime. I think that was the back heel one, wasn't it?
Yep. So here's
which was or the flick rather, which was pretty dope.
Here's the thing, and this is the reason why I keep comparing him to the Blackpool team from back in, like, I think it was 2012 when Blackpool was in the league.
Something
or
like that.
13
Ian
or 14.
Holloway was their manager.
Yes, right. And you know what? The Cherries...
That was Paul Ince's last season playing for some reason.
He
was like 39 or 40 years old, just kind of standing in the center circle. Barking instructions at people.
Yeah, sounds about right. So the beauty is much like Blackpool, Bournemouth can score goals. The problem is they can't stop any goals from going in there yet.
Absolutely. I mean, this game spoke to me like Bielsa's Leeds.
Very much so. Agreed.
Very open at the back, but super fucking aggressive on the front foot trying to do stuff. And despite their 3-1 deficit just after halftime, I think it was the 49th minute or so, they got back on the front foot. They pulled themselves out of it and got back into the game. It was Greenwood with a measured finish, actually. It was a very, very good finish from him.
Floated right in the
And then
90s.
Liam Cooper headed in an equalizer in the 68th minute. Elland Road starts to go nuts, right? All that booing was soon forgot.
Yep.
And they get behind the team again that is now level. And then fucking Crescencio Somerville popping up again, this time with a really good finish.
And a ball from Nyato again, the Italian off the bench again, providing that spark.
100. And he's the second winner in a row, obviously. But it was a great pass from Nonto. And then what a run. He still had so much to do. Beat, 3-4 defenders before finally sliding away?
And then he didn't stop running because he gets tripped up. He falls over the keeper as the ball's going in the back of the net, kind of does a somersault, jumps back on his feet, then runs across the entire face of the goal, all the way back up the entire sideline before he finally slides on his knees.
Somerville did a somersault, went on a summer jaunt. Wow. It was wild. It was fantastic stuff. And Elland Road just went absolutely bonkers. And it was wonderful to see. Jesse March does this weird thing, which I've never seen football managers do, really. They usually direct their ire or their celebrations somewhere, to fans, to players, to whoever. He does this thing where he kind of stares off like into space, does something, and then just kind of tenses up real bad like this. And then just goes, yeah, and then just breaks out of it. It's like really weird. And I think I don't know if it's an American thing. I've never done that.
Well, we've come to discover just from Jesse in his career as a coach and as a player, he is a no fuck around guy. He's very high intensity.
Yeah, but there's a few pundits that I've listened to that talk like he knows when the camera's on him. He knows when people are watching.
I don't disagree. This could have been disastrous for Leeds. It really could have been, and they're lucky to pull it out. And unfortunately, it doesn't.
It could have been his last game.
As great of a win as that is, I feel like this still doesn't install any hope or confidence in that side. I think Elland Road will be quickly to turn on their side again if they're down 2-0.
I tend to agree with it.
Yeah, it's he's got to figure out a way to get that team to defend as intensely as they attack.
Put Luke Ayling back on the field.
Yeah,
it's part of it.
Yeah.
Because he was their organizer. What little organization they had, he was their organizer last season. I think that'd be massively important for them to find a way to reintegrate him into the side. And that may mean a change in formation, but do they lose too much going forward? I don't know that they have the personnel. I think January is going to be telling for Leeds especially. They have one more weekend before the World Cup, yeah?
Yeah.
So coming back from the World Cup, I think there's 2 games, and then the transfer window is open.
Yep.
So you're able, hopefully, to address some of these issues. You know, you got somebody that maybe didn't get out of Bournemouth or Burnley in time, excuse me. You know, that has that ability to marshal a defense and organize and do things that maybe you just don't possess in your squad. I thought Leeds would have done well with somebody like Ben-Mee or Tarkowski at last offseason before you and Brentford lapped them up. Yeah. But they obviously need a steady Eddie back there. That's what they're crying out for, is a steady Eddie at the back that is able to. I mean, Ben-Mee's not super technically gifted, but he's a decent passer of the ball. Like somebody back there to go, listen, fuckers, I've been part of the best defense in the Premier League 6 times. Listen to me. But he can still play and help them on the counterattack.
You know, someone who's been sitting on the bench and hasn't seen a single fucking minute of action, that's not fantastic, but knows how to steady a defense. Michael Keane at Everton.
There you go.
They're clearly looking to move on from him, and he's not getting any time at all. And that's with everyone being hurt, and he's still not getting any time. Yeah. So
I think somebody like that is not a bad shout. Somebody like at Newcastle that's not getting minutes suddenly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Lascelles.
Yeah, Lascelles. That'd be perfect.
Lascelles, yeah.
Exactly right. Not super technically gifted, but a decent passing range that all they have to do is start an attack real quick, and then they can fuck off and organize.
Well, and also someone who will stop having people just run through the middle and score goals, because that's the goals Leeds give up too. It's just these like guy wide open on the far post, guy just runs right through the fucking lane.
Yeah, and that's like Vladimir Soufal's got to be unhappy with his minutes this season.
Yeah,
he's about to get dropped from my fantasy team, by the way.
Yeah, heard.
But like those kinds of people are that, you know, he's still got a lot going forward. Soufal, you know, Lamptey not getting a ton of minutes at Brighton really at the moment because they're playing so well in this system. Like these are people you might want to look at that can defend, but still offer you a lot going forward.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they need a little bit of a shake up at the back. I think
they got to make some fixes. They really do. You know, Mr. Graham, even when it's like a skier holding two poles and jerking them ferociously, even Unai Emery fucks when they go to Villa.
Hey.
What was that?
You just, the two circle hands look like he's like, so you put one guy on this side and one guy on this side, you grab him by the wings and give him a little tug. That's
give him a little tugger.
It's like you drive the ball down and then you drive the ball to the side.
Yeah.
And then you squeeze. Yeah. That was weird. I didn't get it. Maybe that was the problem, is Arsenal didn't understand those tactics.
I just gotta say, so far, nothing boring about him.
Well, here's the thing. This is the part that drives me nuts. I don't know that, because Sevilla didn't play like this when he managed them back in the day. Valencia didn't play like this when he managed them last week.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, whatever it was. I think this was more, go show me what you can do. I know there's a team in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Go show me what you could do and let's figure it out together.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably the smartest thing he could do, because Villa, we've never complained about Villa having talented footballers. We've complained about their system. We've complained about injuries. We've complained about the lack of goals consistently from Watkins and then the mostly injured Ings all the time. We never said they weren't good. Yeah, right? We've never said that. They're plenty good, and they have good players within that squad. It was Douglas Luiz balanced the side, balanced the midfield when he came back. And even the performances in the last few weeks of Gerrard's reign looked better with Douglas Luiz in the midfield.
Right.
They just couldn't find the back of the net.
Right.
Well, Leon Bailey all of a sudden looks like fucking Kylian Mbappe.
Well, just because it was 15 minutes in and they're up 2-0 on fucking Man United. It was like...
It was dope.
Boom, boom, goal.
And it was beautiful, purposeful, technical goals. In fact, technically, we were 4-0 because the one goal was a deflection and it was an own goal from Ramsey, who made up for it later, so that's okay.
Let's talk about the Luca Digne free kick.
Oh,
and not just
no, fuck the free kick wasn't even that good.
Let's talk about Captain Emmy.
It's all about Emmy.
Big shout out to Steve was the one who put up the post about it, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And then Jeff put it up as well on our closed group.
And I saw it in the Villa North America group.
That's Drunken United FC on Facebook. If you didn't know, that's where all the hashtag bans happen.
Emmy runs all the way up to midfield, standing from midfield by the end line, by the sideline, looking at the wall, and starts pointing at Tyrone Mings.
And waving.
Waves,
hey, look at me. Back here.
Yep.
And starts directing them to lean
traffic.
more into the wall. And then exactly where Digne put the ball was right through Mings's head that Emmy had pushed him over to do. And then
they unsighted De Gea
post.
They unsighted De Gea big time with where he moved them, and who better to line the wall up?
Yeah.
Oh, it was perfect.
I mean, I've seen other teams do that in the past. Doesn't happen often, but a goalkeeper will run up and line up
and go move.
Their offensive wall.
Capitano taking control.
It was good. It was great, and then celebrated it like he fucking scored it.
Oh, yeah.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
He runs away. The video I saw was from a fan in the stands. It was like a cell phone video.
Right.
And you could see him. He turns and looks at him. I mean, he's running by, doing the hands and fucking jeering the crowd up. It was great.
To be fair, he cheers like that all the time. And we're going to talk about people cheering. Big difference between Gerrard and Unai Emery. As soon as that goal was scored, he was high-fiving everybody on the bench. All smiles and excitement. Never saw Gerrard do that.
Now, one thing that
He's English. Andy scowls.
One thing that we thought that Emery needed to do, and I'm going to have to assume he did it because the man played with a fire in his fucking belly, is he put his arm around Tyrone Mings and he looked at him and he said, "You're a big fucker. Go out there and do big fucker
Go be a big fucker. Yeah.
Go be a big fucker."
And he did. He did.
And before we get to that moment specifically, let's talk about the inspirational move by Ten Hag to put the captain's armband on the man who walked off the fucking pitch.
What the fuck?
What was it, 3-4 weeks ago? I thought this was a massive mistake.
Why did you put the armband on him? We talked about how the benching him, not putting him on the squad the next game, the message that sent to his team that this is where we are moving forward, you erase all of that.
Well, that's
fine,
exactly right.
Because you need to use him. That's fine. He's a talented player. Use him. But you put the fucking armband on him.
So me and Stephen Walsh, our good friend, member of the Charm City Gooners and owner of Walsh Trivia, great company. Check them out. Do a lot of online trivia games and stuff like that.
It was either him or
me and him talked about
or Michael who put up the
I think Michael put up the original post, but me and Stephen had a big conversation about it.
The Unai Emery thing. I mean Martinez thing.
No.
With the wall.
The other one, the David De Gea.
Yeah.
Fuck. Eric Ten Hag.
All right, guys, take a
Let's
moment.
just say names.
Catch up.
Yeah.
You're good?
Alanga. No, the fucking hell. The
Billy
decision.
Bob Thornton, Bob Rudek,
yeah, Tony Kornheiser.
Michael Wilbon,
The decision.
John Geronimo.
What a deep cut that was.
That's what random.
Mekalika Hi, Mekahani Ho, Jumanji, let's go.
Brazzers. The way to Elon Musk. Blue
Parody.
Blue tick.
Your mom has a blue tick.
It costs you $8.95, buddy. All you have to do.
It's cheaper.
Listen, I'm trying to make a point.
Get to your point.
Is me and Steven had a spirited discussion about what that means to United and what happens. And I think personally, my point of it is I think without really explaining why he did it, and which apparently he did afterwards, I heard today, and it wasn't a very good explanation.
What was it?
Something along the lines of, well, De Gea is tired, Bruno Fernandes is hurt, Christian Eriksen
Fernandez was on suspension, but not
suspended.
hurt. Yeah.
Okay, he was not here.
Yeah.
Is the point. So essentially, who else did I have to put it on?
De Gea, put it on the keeper's arm. He plays every fucking game.
He said he was tired. He couldn't do it.
Oh,
If he's too tired to be out to wear an armband, he's too tired to fucking be on the
I'm just
pitch.
telling you what I heard. Anyway,
doesn't Maguire play for United?
I think it was a massive mistake. Steven seems to think there was another conversation had where maybe some of the senior players went to them and say, hey, we talked to Ronaldo. We've got him on side. Give him another chance. Kind of thing. But unless Ten Hag comes out and says that, my problem is the English press especially is going to eat it up and crucify him for it. Which I'm sure somebody like Luke Shaw or somebody like Elanga or that other kid that started, I think he's Argentinian, the other forward that started. Some of those guys that are kind of fringe, McTominay, that are kind of fringe players but involved, may get their heads turned by the media and go, yeah, you're right, this guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, and
you know what I mean? How many times, Mel, has one of your friends, been like your girlfriend's group talk shit about someone's husband and they go, yeah, you know what? You're right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all the time.
How many times have we done that to a girlfriend?
Yeah. Yeah.
Been like, oh, that girl, what are you doing? And then you're like, oh, yeah, maybe. And this happens with footballers.
Yeah. Yeah.
This happens with footballers. They very well documented. They're not all the sharpest tool in the shed.
Well, then let's
when they get the media coming at them and every story every podcast, every evening news is about this.
He had to slide it in. I was just about to say, old Jackie boy, hey, look, he had 2 slides on. The problem was they were for the same foot.
What I'm saying is, like, all the stupid shit, right? Like, you can't shelter your team from all of that stuff. And eventually that outside pressure could turn a couple heads within the dressing room. Then they start talking. Then other players turn their heads. And then you lose the dressing room.
Right.
Well, let's talk about that captain-like performance from Cristiano Ronaldo.
I have thoughts.
So I thought it was a mistake. I thought it was a stupid move.
On a ball coming into the box, there was a little bit of tussling.
Yeah.
That always happens. And let's face it, Tyrone had gotten the talking to and said, you're a big fucker, go do big fucker things. So he was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get in the pretty boy's head, and I'm going to mess with him a little bit. Well, boy, did he, because somebody decided to suplex somebody.
I mean, Ronaldo attacked Tyrone Mings more than he attacked the other goal.
And now, here's the thing. Now, Mel looked at me as the game was going on, and she's like, how's that not a red? I'm like, where is it really violent conduct is what it really comes down to. Like, it's
They
two
were
guys
wrestling.
two guys tussling.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like Mings committed any kind of a foul, but he was handsy, and Ronaldo overreacted. But it wasn't like he didn't kick him. He didn't punch him or throw an arm into him. It was,
if anything, Mings leaned into it and let Ronaldo take him to the ground. Hear me now, you Man United fuckers, because I've seen your comments out there. Mings would not have gone to the ground if he didn't want to.
I would tend to agree with that.
Ronaldo.
where's Ronaldo? That's probably what everybody was asking during that match.
Hey, Rivaldo.
Exactly.
Fucking anonymous. And I will say, and this is maybe a better example of two men getting into a kind of a tackle.
Great, your mom's checking in now just as I'm dropping F-bombs.
Perfect. Mom, it was Mel this time. She fucking did it. Just kidding, Mom. Come on. Just kidding. Mel will bleep it later. It's fine. Was it Nelson Semedo? Who got sent off in Wolves?
We'll get to that one.
No, what I'm saying is this is a better comparison in terms of the actual fouls. This is two men joxing for position.
Yes.
And
don't describe tomatoes because I got a really good line later on, okay? Don't describe it.
All right. Okay, then I'll wait. But
Yes,
this
please.
is two men jostling for position and kind of falling over the other one's leg.
Okay.
Versus essentially a tackle, which I think is, is that good?
Fair enough.
Okay.
So
there was a degree of separation between those two men, is what I'm saying.
Here's the other thing, too.
That's the difference.
This game got worse. There was a couple more times there, especially there was one tackle in the middle of the field that Ronaldo put on that went, that's normally a yellow. Wonder why that wasn't a second yellow.
Yep.
Maybe because there's a 7 on the back of his jersey and his name's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Absolutely, that should have been his second yellow. And
Maybe it's because he had the captain's armband on.
Should have gotten set off.
And then the other, and then there was another one, and again I used the same logic.
Wait, I think you missed that. Say that again, Captain who?
Dorcarano. Trying stuff out.
You glossed over that far too much.
Sometimes
That deserved credit.
Okay. Look at Sam for once not wanting his own approval, wanting approval for you.
It is election day tomorrow.
Oh,
Don't
your
forget.
mom just went, yay, Ronaldo. What is she drinking?
She thinks he's hot.
He's very easy
I don't
want
want to talk about it.
He's very easy to look
I
at.
don't want to talk about it. She fancies Ronaldo.
So, anywho, here's the thing. Later on in the match, you have Martinez and Leon Bailey get into a little bit of a scrap on the sidelines, and then flat out, Martinez throws an elbow right into his chest after the play is dead on the sideline. And here's where I kind of looked at, I went, I don't get why VAR, other than VAR deemed it not a red card, but that was violent conduct. That was an assault at a player. And
It's the same as a headbutt. It's the same as a kick out after a play's done. It should have been sent off for that.
That should have been sent off.
Yes.
And my thing to her was And she's like,
The
well,
first
why?
foul should have been a yellow. The elbow should have at least been a second yellow
Well,
in the
that's-
same 38 seconds.
And that's where she said, well, why isn't that a yellow? And I go, well, VAR doesn't give yellows. They give
Why
reds.
wasn't
Correct.
it a red? I
You're
mean,
like-
that was okay. The first attack, putting his butt into him and backing him off, that's fine. But the second, like, poignant hit, come on now.
Yeah, he literally took his elbow and threw it into his shoulder.
Well, he's got a
I'm
Napoleon.
sorry,
He's got a
man,
Napoleon
you.
complex. You know, because he's so
Villa found
small.
Their legs.
That
They
is
took
tiny.
a beating to you, and all y'all could do was elbow, chip, tackle.
And here's United again. 1 step forward, 3 steps fucking back.
Everybody, clap your hands.
Elbow, chip, tackle.
2 tackles to the right. 2 elbows to the left. 2 stamps this time.
Crisscross!
Everybody scores a goal.
There's
No,
more
that was
we
the
could've
that was the first game.
There's more we could have done, but that was perfectly fine. That was the right place to end it. The top of the table saw one side dominate on the road and the other almost give it away with 10 men. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0, Man City 2, Fulham 1.
I mean, almost give it away is
Hold on.
generous.
Don't let the scoreline fool you. This was a flat-out domination by the Gunners.
Oh, absolutely.
This was
head to toe.
one-sided match the entire fucking time.
Absolutely.
I
100%.
mean, and it wasn't even just a we're going to outpossess you. We're gonna get more shots. We're gonna play the more aggressive match. We're gonna outman you.
Oh, yeah.
We've got more testicular fortitude than you do. That in your building, we're gonna walk in and dominate you.
So what I'm annoyed by is that we didn't create more clear-cut chances. But 55.7% possession, 2 shots on target to their 1, 14 shots overall. We need to be more clinical than that.
Oh, gotta be.
Period. But we had 662 touches to their 536. We passed the ball a full 92 times more than they did. We put in 7 less tackles because we were less under the cosh, obviously. Now, we did have a few more clearances than they did. But I think 2 of those happened in the same kind of package of play. We had more corners, and we were not caught offsides at all. Our star forward had 3 or 4 chances on target. Their star forward, who used to be our star forward, only had 8 touches.
And was
In the
subbed
game.
out at halftime.
About 62 minutes, I think he got subbed out
Sorry,
on.
yeah, subbed out quick.
But his sad little face he had on, and he was sitting on the side. It was great. Beautiful.
I'm sure you
And
appreciated that.
did you see the promo that he cut
No.
for the game?
No.
It said, "Hey Arsenal, nothing personal. I'm back. I'm blue. I'm ready." 8 touches.
8 touches.
8 touches.
Sounded like when he used to play for you.
And then we said, "Hey, nothing personal. 3 points.
London's red.
Take that." And Gabriel, the center back Gabriel did that.
Yep.
He said, "Nothing personal. London is red, period." And it is red, straight up 5 for 5 this season in London derbies.
Mm-hmm. Killing it.
We have beaten Liverpool, Tottenham, and now Chelsea.
And you beat Palace.
Well, no, I'm saying Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't played City. We lost to United. So that's 3 out of 4 other Big Six.
Yeah.
Now, granted, two of those were at home.
Right.
But Man United was at Old Trafford, and we should have won that fucking game. We dominated that game. And this is why everybody was all going nuts, and Kenny and all his boys, and John and JB, and everybody's talking shit. This is why I wasn't concerned, because the performance was good. We dominated that game. We got robbed of the first goal, which would have changed the complexion of the game, and Anthony did his thing on the counterattack. Fine. Okay, it happens. We don't have a great record at Old Trafford. No problem. The performance was there. The boys stood up and did what they were supposed to do, right? And since then, we've gone on a fucking tear.
Yeah.
And now we've beaten, after that game, we've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten Tottenham both at home, and now we've got our Big Six away win.
Yep.
We are fucking trucking along.
All right.
It was a great game. Partey was fucking immense in that game, breaking up play interceptions, kept us on the front foot the entire time. And then you had Martinelli on the side running rampant. You had Saka running rampant. It was fantastic.
Now it
was fantastic.
Real quick,
we scared Chelsea so much. Kukurea needed a snuggle.
Yes,
off of a corner.
We're going to get back to Arsenal in just a second. I do want to take a moment to talk about Chelsea. It feels like to me Potter wants to start playing the younger players. Put in Broja, had Gallagher out there. I feel like do we think? How can I phrase it? Here's what I wonder. Will Chelsea Football Club, because it's new ownership, it's not Abramovich. Abramovich wouldn't have fucking stood for it. Will the new, because he would have been like, no, you use what I bought for you, or I buy more, including new coach. Fuck you, is what Abramovich would have done. Does this new ownership allow Potter to go, okay, this is a transition year?
Yes.
And it's time to work in new players.
100%.
Like, okay, fine. We did the thing with Aubameyang that was before Potter got here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
all of the transfers were before Potter got there.
Okay, maybe it's time to move on from Havertz, like we moved on from Werner. They're not meant for the fucking Prem.
Mm-hmm.
Like do you think though that this new ownership group's going to be patient enough to let them regress a little to figure it all out?
Yes, I do.
Because honestly, regressing is still 5th or 6th place in this league.
Correct.
The way this league is shaped up this season, because there's enough teams at the bottom. Like, let's face it, a team in 17th place could be in 9th place
in 2 games. Yeah.
In 2 games. So
yeah, I think William Saliba will allow them to regress a little bit before he owns them again. Yes. Did you see that tweet?
Yes.
In the last 18 months, Chelsea Football Club has been owned by Roman Abramovich, the UK government, Todd Bowley, and William Saliba. I love it. Fucking brilliant. But yes, no, I do, and all jokes aside, I think Todd Bowley will allow Grandpa. I think so. Who is it with the Dodgers? He owns the Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers.
Who is it with the Dodgers? Managing there like 8 years now.
Dave Roberts.
They were shite for 2 years. They built a decent squad in the off seasons and trades and things that happened.
They bought most of it.
Whatever, doesn't matter. Not the point. They did it.
Bitter Giants fan. Even though I got 3 World Series rings, they've only got 1.
Anyway, they built a good side. They kept him on. Fell just short. Finally won him a World Series. Right?
Yeah.
And then fell short again. And he's still there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, their track record, yes, it's not football. Yes, it's not the rabid fan base that Chelsea Football Club has.
Says that they will see this project.
The only thing we have to go on is their previous sporting projects.
Right.
And they're sticking with their man.
You also don't bring
don't
bring in this coach if it's not going to be a project.
Correct. This is a project coach. It's like Pochettino. It's a project coach.
Yeah, very much. Now, back to the real thing, the Gunners, obviously.
That's right, baby. Say it again.
Another
in the back.
Another massive check on the checklist. We got that clipboard. We're holding it in our hands. We're going down the checklist. This is another one of them big fucking checks.
Oh yeah. Got ourselves a break, topping our Europa League group. That's a big check.
Sam, it's time to finally say it. This team is title contenders.
Yep.
It's time to finally say it. They legitimately are. Do we think City's probably going to figure out a way to win
we
it?
do.
They probably will. But I think it is fair to say now it's a 2-team race, and one of those 2 teams in the race is Arsenal fucking Football Club.
The problem is with the way the season is, we haven't played City yet, right? So we still have to play them twice. The point gap is such that if we lose those 2 games, they win the title.
Right, of course.
We still have to play Liverpool away. We still have to play Tottenham away. We still have to play United at home. So there's still some big games to come.
Right, of course.
But we are starting to prove to not only the fans, is that we're not the important ones. They're proving to themselves that they can do it and they belong there.
I mean, other than that Southampton draw, there's no real blemishes on the. I mean,
well, exactly.
That Southampton draw is more of a blemish than the United loss.
100%.
Honestly, it's more of a blemish.
100%. Especially since they lost their manager.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. The other thing about that situation is the World Cup is going to play a massive part. I've said this. What happens if Xhaka and Partey get hurt? What happens if everyone except Erling Haaland, who's not the only member of the City squad that's not going to be there? What happens if everyone else gets hurt?
Right.
What are they going to do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of the – I never want to see a player injured. We've said that how many times on the show. We're both athletes ourselves. There's the injury is the – I don't want to see that for anybody. It's an unfortunate reality of the game, though.
We've had a couple of seasons where Kane hasn't gotten hurt. The problem was Kane used to get hurt every fucking season. Richarlison is going to be healthy enough to play at the World Cup. Will he be healthy after the World Cup?
Jesus. Jesus got named in the squad.
Yeah.
Coutinho didn't.
Yeah.
And
Firmino didn't either.
Firmino didn't.
Yeah.
Right? So do Liverpool come back better off than everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
This World Cup being placed where it is with the amount of football these players have played over the last 2-3 years now, really, with not a massive break. This World Cup could prove, somebody like a Leicester coming through and winning. A lot of Newcastle's squad isn't going to be involved.
And they're in third.
You know what I'm saying?
Look now. They're in third fucking place.
I'm not calling them contenders, quote unquote, yet. Toon Army, don't get on my back about ruining your shit. What I'm saying is say 4 or 5 starters for Arsenal get hurt. Sambi Lakanga is not as good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Nketiah is not as good as Gabriel Jesus, even on his bad days. Right? So there's a massive drop-off there. If Haaland has no service, he can't do it on his own.
Right.
Every other City player is going to be there, right? Like, what happens if people get long-term injuries at this World Cup or get hurt the first or second game back?
Right.
What happens if England go all the way?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you've got Saka out there. You've got, Phil Foden and Mason Mount and Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane and all these players that are massively important for their clubs in the traditional Big Six sides. What happens if they go down 2 games after the World Cup and they're out for 3 months?
Yeah, about the only player that
what do those teams do?
About the only type of player, the field player that would not be affected by having to play the World Cup as long as they don't get an injury, it will come back and not be tired, is a goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, because the goalkeeper just plays all the time, and with a goalkeeper, the more minutes you give them, the better. That's just they play everything,
right?
So those guys will be okay. But in fact, if anything, the backups, the Ramsdales, because he's going to sit the entire time watching Jordan Pickford play. He might come back a little rusty because he hasn't been playing nonstop.
Right? But you would hope training would help with that, with training against other world-class players. But my point is these top 6, quote unquote, may look very fucking different when they come back from the World Cup or shortly after the World Cup.
Right.
And if there's 2, 3, 4 losses in a span of 5, 6, 7 games, somebody like Newcastle, who's well rested, who's able to go out now, they pick up wins in that same time. What's to say they can't? This could be a season that proves Leicester, and I said that before the season started. The placement of this World Cup is fucking weird.
Yeah. Suddenly Newcastle and Brighton could find themselves right up in Champions League spots.
Right, and I would consider Arsenal in that position. I mean, we're playing well, and it's getting exciting, and I'm trying to temper my expectations.
Right.
But we could come back from this World Cup, knock on wood, we don't, but we could come back from this World Cup looking very fucking different, and there being a problem at the top end of the Premier League, and it'll upset the apple cart because points on the board are better than not.
Yeah.
We say it all the time.
Yep. Keeping it rolling here. City escape with 3 points. They didn't deserve it. That's for damn sure.
It was a foul.
It was foul. Softest of fouls.
So soft.
It's in today's Premier League, even if this was City doing it to Fulham, the ref would have called that.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting called every time.
Yep.
The only thing that's up for interpretation is handballs and where it hits on the sleeve. That was my bitter Everton showing for a moment about City.
This game, the sad part is Fulham couldn't hold out, obviously.
Right.
And hold out, I mean hold out, because City, despite being down to 10, still finished with 71% possession.
Yeah. Honestly, some people are like, oh, why didn't Fulham try to have a go at the game? That's exactly what you don't want to do against fucking City.
Fuck no.
City wants you to fucking have a go.
100% they want you to have a go.
You stick to the fucking game plan you've been running with. You stick to that fucking game plan. And
And Leno was needed on multiple fucking occasions.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to the sending off and after.
By the way, that sending off, absolutely agree with on Cancelo. It's the last defender.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, it looks shoulder to shoulder. No,
doesn't matter.
He had no eye on the ball.
No.
It might have been shoulder to shoulder. That was him going, I'm going to run right into this
There
guy
was
with
no
my
genuine.
shoulder.
There was no genuine attempt to play
No,
the ball
he didn't
or
care
gain
about the ball one
possession
bit.
of the ball at all.
It was absolutely
literally just
a red.
taking out the attacker.
Well, it's
bullshit.
It's a red. It's a penalty, and you hate the double jeopardy thing, but it was the last goal. Like, you have no choice. The way the law is written, that is absolutely positively a red card. It has to be.
Here's the difference. Dean Henderson, with his grab on Weiss's leg, genuinely tried to play the ball.
Trying to get the ball. Yeah, exactly. And that's why that's not a red.
Actually got a nick on the ball, but then grabbed Weiss's leg. So it's definitely a penalty.
Yeah, you know what?
Or did enough to hold him up at least.
Let my bitter Everton show again. Lloris got a nick on the ball too when he grabbed fucking Richarlison and pulled him to the ground last season. They didn't call that a penalty.
I remember what you're talking about. Although I believe you because it was Tottenham. Cheaters.
Here's a little question
Parody.
for you. Can City win without Haaland? Are they now a one-trick pony?
No, because they're very good at other things, which
Yeah.
is another theme that came up on DUFC this week. Somebody said, I can't remember what, I shared it actually. It was Michael Owen saying something ridiculous and contradicting himself within 2 sentences, essentially. And it reminded me on the other week I think it was on Sky. I might be wrong about that. Don't quote me on the channel. But Paul Scholes described Anthony as a one-trick pony for United. Followed the next sentence describing 2 things he was good at. That kid's a one-trick pony, but he could really dribble and shoot.
Well, that would not be a one-trick pony.
That'd be a two-trick pony. Fucking brilliant. No, City are very good at other things. They're very good at football. They can lull you to sleep. It's Barcelona 2.0. Yeah, it's an old tiki-taka that you can't touch the ball. So eventually somebody will make a mistake, and we have the players to put the ball away. I think they will. I think without Haaland with 11 men, they still come out on top against Fulham.
Yeah.
I think the key was, and Haaland did score, but was ruled offside. Very tight. But I think it was the right decision.
It was. He was off.
But ultimately, with 10 men, they still possessed almost 3/4 of the ball.
Yeah.
It's City are very good at other things.
Oh, yeah.
So Fulham would have, I think, collapsed.
So one last thought, and I want to actually turn it towards Fulham. Even with the losing at the death, Fulham's got to be happy as shit.
It's disappointing as fuck. It'll be gutting for them. But I think they could be proud of what they did. Absolutely proud of what they did.
At the almost halfway point, they are sitting 9th place on 19 points. The general rule of thumb is they got 20 more points to get.
Just to piss Kenny off, I'm going to say they have 0 chance of going down. Now that they're sitting in 9th. Hashtag shoehorn.
Rounding out the rest of the
I'm
league.
not proud of it.
It was still done. Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Nottingham Forest 2, Brentford 2, Brighton 3, Wolverhampton 2, Leicester 2, Everton 0, Newcastle 4, Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 2, West Ham 1, Liverpool 2, Tottenham 1.
I've got something now. I was happened to be in the restroom
Okay.
the other day. My brother texted me and said, "Are you going to the casino?" I said, "No, sure aren't." He said, "I am. You want me to put something in for you?" I said, "Yeah, do it." I did all 4 11 o'clock games just like I did on the show. And I said, "What are the odds?" And he was like, "Well, the live odds are XYZ. I think it was plus 996 or something." I was like, "Put $15 on it." I Venmoed him $15. Every fucking result came in.
But this.
And Brentford was winning.
Oh, that's right.
Until the end of stoppage time. And they fucked it.
An own
with
goal.
an own goal.
An own goal.
And I lost $143. Well, I lost $15.
Right.
But in the 94th minute and 12 seconds, I had $143 in my pocket.
Yep.
And I counted my chickens before they hatched. And I counted my chips while I was still sitting at the table. What's the opposite of the what's his name song.
Never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
Yeah, there you go. I did that, and then I got fucked.
Yeah, you did. Not a good game for Ben Mee. Ooh.
Well, he had a great attempted clearance.
It was over the line.
It was still over the line. It wasn't
Yeah.
his fault.
Yeah.
He did well to clear the first one, but it hit off his boy, Zanka.
Yeah.
Zinkadink.
And directly responsible for the first goal, too.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Yeah,
It's probably accurate. It was good feet from Morton Gibbs. His first name's not Morton.
Morgan.
Morgan Gibbs White. It was great feet from him and a composed finish. I thought the goalkeeper probably could have done better there as well.
It should have been honestly 3 points to Brentford. I think this is you steal it at the death at home because you're at the city grounds. I don't think there's much more to read into this. Brentford's the better side.
I think Dean Henderson solidified his place as England's number 4. And he's not going to be on the plane.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I think Nick Pope will be number 3.
And Ramsdale
number 2.
Yeah.
And Jordan Pickford number 1.
Yeah.
But I think this stupid-ass mistake that he made fouling Wissa, and then later on, now maybe he was distracted by the DMs from Nicole or the cat calls from the front row, because I heard she was there holding up a sign saying, "Hey, baby daddy, pay attention to me." But he got caught in no man's land.
Hey, Dino, make me pregnant. I believe is what the sign says.
And he got caught in fucking no man's land.
Yeah.
And Wissa did very well to finish that chance off. But the first one in Buemo was a great penalty, sent Henderson the wrong way. And then the Nottingham Forest second goal, obviously at the death, was the own goal, which was terribly unfortunate. But again, you put it in a position and see what happens, and a frantic, crazy goal mouth, that kind of shit can happen with all those bodies in there. What are you going to do?
Wolves finally score goals, and yet they still give it away. Allow me to say the following, Mr. Graham, about Mr. Semedo. It was a brilliant open field tackle. He got his arms wrapped around the man. He didn't lead with his head to not get the personal foul. Sorry, wrong football. That's a red card.
This is where I was saying there is the difference.
Red card.
This is where the difference is between the Ronaldo and Mings interaction and this one, because this one was a free safety cleaning somebody out after making a catch.
Dove, wrapped his arms around him, was smart enough to move his head to the side as not to be a missile, and took him down clean in the fucking secondary, man.
Now, that being said, on the way down, the Brighton player, who I've never heard of before, was just already signaling, card. He hadn't even hit the ground yet.
As he's hit the ground, he's already got his hand in the air.
Fucking brilliant.
Let us say that this, you know what? I can proclaim this in the history of football. That is the easiest red card ever handed out. That is easier. That is easier than Luis Suarez just sticking up his hand and whacking it out of the goal in the World Cup against Ghana. That is how easy of a red card.
Well,
that
now
was.
I will say, somebody, Sean Taylor, formerly of the Washington Redskins, R.I.P., is super proud of this tackle in the open field.
It was brilliant.
It was fantastic.
Brilliant.
He used to just
one problem.
what motherfuckers?
One problem. Wrong sport. That's the only thing.
Wrong football, man. What do you do? And I know the NFL has played a few games there in recent weeks. Don't get excited. That's not the same thing.
Good win for Brighton, going up to Wolves and getting the 3 points.
And unlikely goal scorers as well. Wasn't just Trossard again.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is good. It was more people getting involved, more team. They look like they're starting to settle in now under De Zerbi. What do you think?
They've had some slips, and then they've answered back. I'm really starting to feel like this is a top 10 side, and this is a side that's challenging for Europe. I really do start to feel like, because it
Feel a
just
bit
seems,
more confident in that.
even with Potter being gone, even with losing Basuma and Cucurella, which I thought was going to cripple them as a club, it clearly hasn't. They're just moving right along, and this was a nice, solid, big win for them.
It's just next man up. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
3 of 4 for the Foxes. And I believe this is...
I don't want to talk about it.
4 shutouts in 6 for old Dougie Gonna Doug.
He's not a good goalkeeper. I still don't buy into it.
I would say a lot of this shutout wasn't necessarily Leicester playing good as it was Everton. They created opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. They just never put a shot on. Like, they attacked a ton. They got into the box a ton. They just never seemed to really threaten, despite the fact that they seemed to be. Leicester basically counterattacked them twice and got a couple of goals. You know, I mean, and by the way, here's a thought process. He's done it 1 out of 2 times. One he put off the post, one he put in. He did it back in an FA Cup. Maybe, just maybe, if Yuri Tillemans is hanging around outside the box, which he does a lot, maybe if the ball comes out to him, might want to mark him. Because he tends to put it in the fucking upper 90s if he's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yuri Ruben Tillaneves, if you want to. That's his name.
He does it every
it was fantastic.
Time. That's.
Well, you know what Everton thought.
That's no longer a wow. That's a 1 in a million shot. It's now that guy.
That's a tactic.
Does that.
Yeah.
That's guy does that. You need to be aware of him.
It's like marking a Beckham free kick.
Right.
Like, this guy has this capability.
Where you talk about Ruben Neves. You mark Ruben Neves when you're 25 yards out because that fucker's going to put it in the goal if you don't.
Yeah. What I will say about that, though, is fair play to Everton. Ben didn't manicure that field. They couldn't have known.
No. Just didn't know. That was it.
Our boy Ben.
If Ben had made that field, it would have been perfect, right?
You know. That's the thing. Ben didn't manicure the field, so they couldn't have known that Tillemans was going to be able to do that.
And don't look now. Everton's just outside of the drop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would say...
But that's going to happen a ton. We just discussed that, too. 17th to 11th is separated by, like, 4 points. So, 2 games, and you're in the top half of the table just about. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to happen for the next few weeks. What the issue is going to be is Palace down through all the way to you guys, really.
Yeah.
Leeds included in that.
Villa,
Brentford. Somebody at some point is going to have to string
West
3
Ham's in there.
3 wins together and separate themselves.
Yeah.
And then make that relegation battle smaller. Problem is, none of y'all fuckers can.
No, I can say...
That's the issue.
Here's what I can say for Everton, and I still... Like, this time last season, it was just starting to fall apart. It was just like, fuck, we're too good. Like, we shouldn't be here, but fuck, right? This one, I look at it and I go, oh, yeah, I can easily name 3, 4, 5 teams who I think are worse than us. Like, this is where it's very different from last year. We have a very serviceable side. It's not like there's the only glaring weakness is putting the ball in the net. But then also 2 weeks ago we put fucking 3 in the back of the net against Palace, you know, so we can score, but the pieces are there. And I feel like, you know what, January you get the right kind of difference maker guy that you can work with, because what we did is we sold our difference maker to fucking Spurs, right? You get a difference maker guy because between Gray, McNeil, and Gordon, they're all good. None of them are great.
Right.
We need a great. You need a great.
You need a great.
You need a great. And,
sure.
and every team, like even like a Palace has a great. They got Zaha. They got a great. Like most of those teams in that area, they got a great. You got a guy who can do something, and Everton needs that guy.
You know what I also said? The last line, which is pretty funny, that I have here, that I wrote. I said, Everton defended pretty good, and Pickford made 1 or 2 really, really good saves, but it was all undone by a goal of the month contender from Tielemans. And this was an accident, but it sounds good. A fantastis volley.
Fantastis.
I accidentally put an E on that, Mel. Okay, it's a fantastis volley.
I take this shot more out of aggravation because this is a team we normally beat at home, and it's why I was bullish on picking them on my bet last week, because that's the year they won it, and 2019 are the only times Leicester Football Club has ever beaten Everton in our building, and this was the third, which is like, you watch that game, and I kind of knew from the go when Iwobi missed that sitter that he probably should have had. I was like, that's the way this fucking game's going to go. It's just, that's going to be it.
It's going to be one of those days for us. I got you.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Oh, that's pretty good. You look like Popeye.
I'm going to Chicago. I'm going to Chicago this week.
The spinach for drunkards.
Yeah. I'm going to Chicago this week, Sam, and I've already been told there is because we already talked about it. I was like, there needs to be some Malort, right? And everybody's like, no Malort. I'm like, of course there's got to be Malort.
This is where?
Chicago. I'm going to Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
On Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday night, we're going to a bar that does live band karaoke.
Ooh, is it the Alibi?
No, it's
damn it, the rapiest bar on the south side.
Bubs. Yeah, no, I know. If only it was the Alibi, I would fucking love it.
I just got to that episode, by the way. Kevin's on his
the rapiest bar,
the anti-misogynistic. I don't know what that means,
which is so great.
The feminist movement. Yeah.
I'm a feminist, damn it.
Yeah,
Kevin. There's something so pure about Kevin. You want everyone to be as pure. Stay golden, bunny boy. Stay golden.
Yeah, because he's an idiot, but he's very pure-hearted.
So
yeah, like he's trying to do the best he can. It's yeah.
Him and Vivian, it's a love story for the ages.
It just works. It just works.
But one of the things that they mentioned at that bar that we're going to, the owner is a big fan of Malort, and apparently, I will be reporting back Malort Jello shots.
Ooh.
Newcastle in third fucking place, Sam Graham. They're in third fucking place.
I'll leave it.
Go ahead.
No, it's probably bad.
Newcastle.
I can't say it.
Newcastle is in third fucking place, Mr. Graham. And imagine where they
sounds like something that Bill Cosby would have served. Malort Jello shots.
Ooh.
Sorry. I couldn't leave it.
Newcastle in third, and Southampton are looking for a manager, Sam.
Mel's just shaking her head. Yeah, he used up all of his 9 lives, and now there's zero chance he's moving forward with the team. Southampton have the same fucking problems they've had under him completely. Can't score fucking goals consistently.
Mm-hmm.
They have no forward that does or gives a fuck about scoring goals, which is tough. But Newcastle took a while to get going, but once they did, they were absolutely scintillating. Flicks, tricks, perfect weighted through balls. It was excellent. And they were good money for their win, even though Eddie Howe didn't think so. After the match, he said, we were subpar today at a 4-1 win.
Look at Eddie Howe getting all critical of his fucking boys.
Right? I don't know how they're supposed to take that. Miggy having a great old time, feeding off of Grealish's tears. That's... Oh. He's like a soul sucker from Harry Potter. It's just every time Jack Grealish goes without scoring, Miguel Almirón finds the energy to score.
So
it's just great.
Almirón comes to the league and has a hard time scoring. Little did he know is all he needed was fucking Grealish to slag him off.
Somebody to talk shit.
That's all he needed.
I mean, it's so traditionally South American.
Yep.
I need someone to hate to do my job.
And then I'll go fucking destroy them all.
Yeah. And so finally, somebody gave him some flack.
So here's the thing. Wolves have...
specifically contemporary. Because the English media was on his ass. I don't know if you speak English very well.
Yeah, didn't care.
So who cares?
No comprende, whatever.
But fucking one of my colleagues says it.
I comprende the shit out of
I got you, motherfucker. Yeah.
I got you now.
So South American of him.
So Wolves hire Julian Lopetegui.
Yep.
Who
does Southampton hire? No idea.
Well, nobody yet. Here's honestly for me,
Sparky.
Because I do think I think the following.
Steve Bruce.
No.
Neil Warnock. He loves the South Coast. Come on.
Bring on.
Cornwall's a lovely part of the world, isn't it?
Big Sam time. It's definitely Big Sam Allardyce time.
Oh, I would love any one of them. Alan Pardew, please. He did that stint for the Ukrainian army or in Belgrade. Or whatever, when he did Red Star.
Now,
where's Belgrade?
Yeah. Anywho.
It's not Ukraine.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Were they Belarus? They might have been Belarus.
No, I think maybe Romania.
Okay. Anywho. So
Mel, where's Belgrade?
You're asking her
it's
to
Belarus, but I will look it up to make sure.
Belgrade's not Belarus. I know that.
So here's the thing. What it really comes down to Serbia. So I think Forest are going down, and I think that Bournemouth is going to fall apart and is still on the decline.
Worried.
I think it comes down to which new manager at Southampton or at Wolves has the greater impact, because I think those are the two teams battling for fucking 17th.
Do you remember what happened in Russia in 2018
Yes.
with Spain?
Mm-hmm.
I heard somebody to say, make the joke that he'll probably manage on Saturday, but as the World Cup approaches, he may quit. Just so that's funny. I don't know what Southampton's going to do, because I don't see a lot of quality managers available. That's the question.
Honestly, I was kind of surprised by the Hasenhüttl firing. I would have thought you would have just kind of wrote it out.
Yeah.
Because
I'd be very nervous for them, because I'm not sure who is available. I'm not sure who they can realistically go get to turn their fortunes around. And if they seriously do a Pardew, a Sparky, a Big Sam, a Warnock, that could cripple them.
I think...
And they could very seriously go down, and also very seriously have trouble coming back up, because they've, in the last 2-3 seasons, have turned away from bringing through academy players.
Yeah.
And that was always their bread.
I think that Big Sam failing at West Brom and West Brom going down, I think that was finally the brick that made most clubs realize we can't go get the stopgap guy anymore.
He's not a very good manager. Well,
just
specifically.
In general, yeah, but in general, like, we can't go get that guy, because that guy, it doesn't always work. And particularly in today's game, just getting a guy who's going to pack 10 back and hope you win games 1-0, it's not going to work in this league. It's not going to work in this league anymore. You can't do that.
Do we know if the cathedral in Southampton is Gothic or not?
No, I do not.
Okay, because I had a rogue shout in my head for the gargoyle that is Roy Hodgson taking over. And I thought they could just get him off this perch at the Southampton Cathedral. Bring the anti-Medusa.
Speaking of old Roy Boy jobs, Palace do a number at the death on West Ham. Palace probably didn't deserve all 3, but West Ham certainly didn't do anything to prove that they even deserved 1, really.
Yeah, so it was a pretty lively start for both sides. I think Palace had the better of the chances until Ben Rama's goal, which is a fucking laser beam. That was very good. A very good fucking goal. And then West Ham retreated within themselves. And if you have a trio of players like Olise, Zaha, and Eze, you're always going to be dangerous. And they just smacked the shit out of West Ham and kind of counterattacks, really, for the most part. But it was, they just kind of caught them sleeping.
Allow me to say the following.
It's such good players, those 3.
This is very much an inside joke just for us and Drunken United FC and, the inner circle. Welcome back, Smokey. I missed you. So glad you're back. Smokey posted already posting the dead in the water. What the fuck are we doing here? The world's burning. We're all going to die. I was like... There's Smokey. He's been away for a couple of years. Welcome. Let me give you a nice.
He's dehydrated out there in Arizona.
Let me make you a little hot cocoa. I'll put the little marshmallows in it and everything. You're gonna be all right, buddy. Welcome back.
Yeah, he's having a fucking conniption on the internet yesterday.
This is going to be West Ham's season. They are doing very well in Europe. They're doing very well in Europe. That is going to be the focus, and finishing middle of the table is all Moyes and that side honestly care about. And it's hard to get your players to give a shit about a game on the weekend when you're doing so fucking well in the European
you're not bad enough to go down.
No, you're not going down. You're not going down.
And besides that, you're in a position where if you win the McRib Cup, you're in the Europa League next year. So your league position doesn't matter.
Your league
and you are probably, right now, the biggest team in the McRib Cup.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah.
And we'll see what that... Europa League third place drops down for the same tournament style the Champions League does to the Europa League, don't they?
Yeah.
So we'll see after the next round, these playoff games.
Yeah, but they were the first place team, so they're not going to see one of those guys.
Right, that's what I'm saying. After this next round of games, we'll see who the biggest team in the McRib Cup is.
Yeah.
And I bet you it'll probably still be West Ham.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right there for him. It really is right there for him. And frankly, I mean, even Smokey would admit this. At the end of the day, if you finished 14th place but won a fucking trophy, a European trophy at that, you'd be fucking happy with it.
Absolutely.
I'd be fucking happy with it. 100%. With my club. I'd be fucking
happy with it.
Yeah.
We haven't won a European Cup since the 70s.
Yeah.
And it was a Fairs Cup. It was a bullshit tournament to begin with.
You haven't won the big one.
I think we got an Intertoto Cup, too. Yeah. A weird tournament back in the day.
I mean, hell,
with like 6 teams in it.
Our European Cup has got more weight than your European Cup.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, because ours was the Cup of Champions, where it was the first place team and every team in Europe played a tournament. You know,
yeah.
At least ours had some weight to it. Yours got fuck all, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been to 3 finals, 2 Europa League. Back then, UEFA Cup was 1. And then the one against Chelsea, Europa League, a couple of years ago with Emery in charge, hit the one trophy that he's good at winning, and we fucking fell short.
I was going to say, if only Arsenal were a La Liga team, you would have fucking won it.
Fucking hell. And then the Champions League, obviously, where we had old crazy Yen sent off, which we lost to Barcelona. And now that draw, did you see that, by the way? Manchester United finished second in their group. They have to do the whole thing, playoff thing.
Yep.
Drew Barcelona.
Yeah.
Guns.
I just figure I'd throw this out there. We got somebody new in the Twitch watching.
Oh, cool.
Already did a come on you Gunners.
Yeah, get in.
Like missed the pro Arsenal agenda earlier, but it's always there.
Yeah, that's
welcome. I welcome you more than anyone else here.
Well, fear not. You'll enjoy Mr. Graham's hard-hitting analysis, because what Mr. Graham likes to do is take any situation and turn it into talking about Arsenal.
That's what I know the best.
So a duck was walking across the street. There was a duck standing out in front of the Emirates one time. It was a beautiful duck. You should have seen it. But he was right there at the Emirates, turned around, and I swear to Christ, he said, "Come on, you Gunners." Right out of his fucking mouth.
He walked across the street better than that other duck, because that other duck supported Spurs and was a fucking piece of meat. Drop your name. Let us know who you are, man. That's awesome, or lady, actually.
All
Probably
right.
shouldn't be.
Moving on.
Let's be honest.
Mr. Graham, don't look now. Mo Salah's finally fucking scoring goals. And he's been scoring a few in a row. Now, granted, I would like to say that second goal.
Don't talk about Xhaka, please.
Second goal. That was a gorgeous header by Eric Dyer. Right on the fucking foot.
What a weird
problem. Dyer plays for Spurs. Mo plays for Liverpool.
Let it drop. If you misjudge it that poorly, just let it drop. Readjust your body.
I'd like to think it was a perfectly timed header right to Mo. He was just like,
well, it wasn't a header. That's the issue. He hit it with his fucking shoulder.
Let me keep this ball right here to Mo.
Sucks. Yeah. Ugh. And you know what the worst is? He's been playing well enough in recent weeks that people have been giving him a shout for England, especially with certain injuries and other out-of-form players, Maguire.
Right.
So they've been talking Eric Dyer up about being the center of a 3 at the back.
Right,
and then did this.
Fucked it right off.
What are you doing?
Fucked it right off.
It was a decent start to the game. Liverpool did look more dangerous, but it was fairly end-to-end. Nunez with a smart pass found Salah. Touch and shot were too quick. Fucking brilliant, that.
Mm-hmm.
That quick touch, popped it up, and then volley. It was excellent. World class. What we've been missing from Mo Salah all season, really. As a player that we, admire for his skill. Mm-hmm. Both of us don't care for him because he plays for a team that we can't stand.
Right.
But it was very well done. Very well done from him. And then again, Eric Dyer just cocked up that routine header.
Yeah.
Just absolutely cocked it up, put it right to Mo Salah. And
I'd like to think it was a perfectly timed pass to him.
What a perfect finish from Salah. And then Harry Kane had a lovely finish, but it was in vain.
Yeah.
Lloris made a few pretty good saves because it could have been worse. But ultimately, You have to be upset with Son's injury and everything else. You got to find a new way to play. You now cannot play on the counter.
I was about to tell you, I was going to say, we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. It's like, okay, no Kulusevski, no Richarlison. Now it's back to just being Kane and Son, and that's pretty easy to figure out. And then Son gets hurt in the midweek in the Champions League.
Well, now Kulusevski came back.
Well,
Yeah, he fractured his orbital bone.
and the children have wept, Sam. The children.
He's a doubt for the World Cup, but he was named in their squad, I believe.
Sam, the children, they wept for Son. They wept for him, okay? Just letting you know that.
Children wept.
The fucking children, Sam.
The shortest verse in the Spurs Bible. Children wept. You know, Jesus wept is the shortest verse in the real Bible. That's why the joke hits.
Yeah. It's
Mel just shook her head at me like I made some sort of anti-Catholic joke. I'm not sure.
All right, so final.
Not sure who I offended with that one.
I loved watching like the mental math go on in your
I was like,
head,
who
your
am I making
eyeballs
fun
roll
of?
back.
Final thought, because we have talked about the two teams both of us despise long enough. Conte gets a yellow card, but upon further review, the reason why Conte got a yellow card is because one of Klopp's assistant coaches grabbed the ball and walked away with it, like started to walk down the tunnel, and Conte got incensed about it, and Conte got the yellow for it. They're like, there's the motherfucker walking down the tunnel with the ball. Just too funny.
You know how we had a raft last year of people having heart attacks in the stands and
Yes.
shit? Are you not anxiously, that's the wrong word, but are you nervous, probably nervous energy would probably be the best word for it. Are you experiencing any of that with Antonio Conte?
Yeah, it just looks like
He's
it's
going
happen.
to have a fucking heart attack at some
Yes.
point. The way he gets incensed about things.
Well, and it's just
I'm terrified for him.
it's also that club, because he's now coming to the realization that he's at a club that no matter what he does, they're not going to win anything.
You know what? In honor of Guy Fawkes Day, the legend has it that Guy Fawkes actually did not want to endure the rest of the punishment the English had laid out for him, the government had laid out for him. So he decided to jump instead of wait for the platform to drop. Right as the guy was pulling the lever, he leapt. So he extra, right?
Just a little extra.
And it killed him outright, which apparently a lot of botched hangings back in the day. So Conte, what does he intentionally have a heart attack? Like, how does this work?
I think that's probably how it works.
Sure money.
Okay. Do we have Pat tonight?
We do not. He's already gone to bed
I
and
need to
sent
get
in an
my
email.
phone out to read said email when it becomes pertinent.
All right, well then let me go ahead and do my thing while you're pulling that up.
Well, I have to tell people that this is the segment in which we
Okay.
make bets to better inform you on your bets. And if you can't figure out why that's ironic, then that's on you.
Don't bet what we bet. We bet
Don't.
pick opposite.
That'll become evident when I tell you what mine is. I lost last week and I'm down 1,300 now. How'd you do?
I lost because Everton shit the bed at home to a team that they always beat at home, and I am now down $568.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
Graham, 16.666667% of the time. It works 100% of the time.
That would have been better for last week on Halloween with all them sixes in a row.
Well, this week I just simply wrote, nope. Nope.
How'd that go? Nah.
Nope.
Just didn't go.
Oh, just didn't work. I got to leave that there for you
Yeah,
because
for
you
me,
got to feed
please.
a couple losers as well.
That is the Dort's by Wrecked cup of losers. Please. Giant mug.
I'm going to do what I like to call pulling a pat. I'm going to go ahead and take a upset for no good reason at all whatsoever, especially the way that they've played. It's been a little erratic, but you know what? When all you have is Harry Kane to score and you can't get anybody to get him the ball, I don't see where you're going to score. I'm going to take Leeds to upset Tottenham in London at plus 440.
Ooh.
Odds were good. I'm like, fuck it. Leeds to win 3 in a row. Why not? Even though they are horrible in London. They are worse than horrible in London, but I'm still going for it.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
It's ridiculous.
That's only one of 3 games I didn't pick.
How many way parlay are you doing?
Hashtag foreshadowing. I'll tell you in a minute.
Oh, my God.
Because I've got an email here from our good friend.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend, Pat's Pick of the
And
Week.
how's that for a radio transition?
I love it.
Okay, lost both my matches. I'm down 270. This week, 2-game parlay. Love it, lock it, put the mortgage on it. First, I'll take Palace over Forest for plus 140, and I'll take Chelsea over Newcastle for plus 210. That pays off on $230 bet, $1,480.
Ooh.
Don't know what the math is there. I have a really good feeling about this. Now, we need to talk about what we're doing about the World Cup, $20 a man, and then he included a link.
Oh, so he might want to run it?
I think he wants to run it, and that would be his responsibility, and I would definitely share it on the socials.
Yeah, Pat sent me a message going, hey, can we get some World Cup betting going?
All right.
$20 a man for a pool? I wouldn't be against it.
I'm
$10
for it.
for a woman because I'm paid less?
No.
No.
We stand up for women's rights here on the DU Football Show.
No, you could just ask your man to pay it for you.
And you know what?
Misogyny theater takes a weird turn every week.
To make things fair for the last 20 years, you get to pay $30
Nice.
because we value your presence.
So he
your,
took.
your fanboy in the chat got back. His name is Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Nice to see
He
you.
is a Charm City gunner.
Yes.
And an occasional Abbey attendant. So
There we go. We probably have
you
met then.
probably know him.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for coming.
Excellent. All right.
Appreciate you being here.
So he said, what was his bet again? Who are his two winners?
So he has Palace over Forest and Chelsea over Newcastle. That's a stretch.
Chelsea
that
over
one.
Newcastle's a tough one because the way they're playing, but also, yeah, okay. That could hit though. It could hit.
All right, you want what I got?
Yes.
So my cup of losers is damn bees.
Heard damn bees.
They fuck me again. 7-way parlay, Mel.
9-way parlay.
7. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adam. It is 7. I have Palace over Forest, City over Brentford, Everton over Bournemouth. The reason I got into this, by the way, just so y'all know, is I started picking games and I was like, well, I got 2 out of the 3 of us. I can't rightfully leave Villa out.
All right.
And then I couldn't leave the Magpies out because that would make Alan mad. And he's about to have us on his show soon.
True.
So I just started including anyone that's close to us. I included bets about them.
Not good gambling.
Palace over Forest, City over Brentford, Everton over Bournemouth, Liverpool over Southampton, Newcastle over Chelsea, Arsenal over Wolves, and Villa over Brighton.
Grammy folding.
A 7-way parlay for 100 crisp U.S. dollars.
Nice.
Get it the fuck together, Sam.
Pays out plus 12,620.
Oh man.
So I will hit this and then abstain from further betting for the rest of the season.
Except for you won't.
You're
That's
goddamn
the
right I
problem.
won't.
You won't.
Fucking run it. Fucking get it done.
Oh, you know what? That's a pretty good fucking segment. Even though we didn't even have Pat talking, and Pat is fucking gold when he's talking on the radio.
No, he's
guys,
not.
what
It's
are you
so
guys
bad
up
it's
to
good.
today?
That's why he's
it's
gold.
so bad it's good.
But you know what we got, Mr. Graham?
What's that?
We have a chicken.
Ooh, poultry.
Well, Kitty ended her slide with City's victory and sits at 6 and 7. Now, Millie and Trudy approached me at the coop this morning because Kitty is still away, and this week's note read,
Little on edge still, I guess.
Lady, I still got a few lucrative business opportunities,
Hydroponics. It's going to be big.
and I need to manage them overseas and can't get back home just yet. Now, if my associates come by again, just let them know things are just about worked out and I'll be back shortly. So for this week, give me the Gunners to beat the Wolves. Tell the guy I want my snacks doubled when I get back.
That's a question you need to have with Beatrix and Abby because they've been eating all your snacks. So
Oh,
I mean, if she wants more snacks, she's going to have to fight with them.
I think she wants you to give her more snacks when she gets back.
But it's what Kitty does, man.
Sounds like a euphemism.
Well, Kitty is full of demands, and she also demands that everybody gamble legally and responsibly.
Sam, to quote, God, why am I Super
I
Troopers?
have no idea.
Championship corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh no!
It makes Sam giggle every time.
fucking time. All right, so I'm going to briefly run through everything that happened.
Yeah, we're running along.
Coventry beat Blackburn in the midweek. Borough beat Hull in the midweek. Luton and Reading drew. Preston 1-0 over Swansea. Sheffield United 1-0 over City. Bristol City, that is. West Brom 1-0 over Blackpool. First win in a while. On Wednesday. What?
Boing, boing.
Oh. You said it off mic, and I had my headphones on, so I couldn't hear what you said. Millwall and Birmingham drew 0-0. Burnley 3-2 over Rotherham. Watford 2-1 over Cardiff. Sunderland 2-0 over Huddersfield. Norwich City drew QPR, and Stoke beat Wigan. At the weekend, you had Preston beating out Reading 2-1. Not a great week for Reading. Sheffield United 5-2 over Burnley, so Burnley split their week, not great. Blackburn 1-0 over Huddersfield, also splitting, but back to winning ways. You had Blackpool losing to Luton, Borough and Bristol City drawing 1-1. Millwall, another 0-0 draw, boring fucking football there. West Brom, another 1-0 win. Probably boring fucking football there as well over QPR. Norwich City 2-1 over Rotherham, Birmingham 2-1 over Stoke, Cardiff 1-0 over Sunderland, and Swansea Wigan 2-2. Watford lost 1-0 to Coventry. That leaves your championship table looking like this. Burnley still on top, but now just a 2-point lead on the same games as Blackburn, which is 20. Played Blackburn are in second place on 36 points. Sheffield United now in third on 19 points with 35 games played and a better goal differential than Burnley. So, should Sheffield United win their next game out, they will leapfrog Burnley and be in first place.
Heard.
Win their game in hand, rather, not necessarily the next game out. You have Norwich City in fourth on 32 points, QPR in fifth on 31, Preston North End on the same number of points, still with a dead-even 0 goal differential in sixth place on 20 games, I might add. Watford in seventh on 29 points, as are two other clubs, Luton and Swansea. Millwall dropped down to 10th on 28 points. Birmingham City in 11th on 27th. Reading in 12th on 26th. You go down to the bottom of the table. Huddersfield, dead last, 15 points. 18 games played, so they do have a game in hand. But that still only brings them to within 2 of those above them and a -8 goal differential, which is only better than one person in front of them. 2 people in front of them. That's not good.
No.
So Huddersfield looking like shite. You have Wigan Athletic in 23rd, West Brom in 22nd, both on 20 points. Goal differential only setting those two apart. Hull in 21st place, and Middlesbrough dropping all the way down to 20th, also on 21 points, same as Hull, but have a goal differential of 13 better than Hull.
Coventry's dug themselves out of the bottom. They were in the bottom a few weeks
Coventry's
ago.
now in 15th on 23.
Because there was a point where it was Coventry, West Brom, and Huddersfield, who were all fairly decent championship sides, all right in the bottom there. Huddersfield, ultimately, you took away 2 very key players. In the 23 players that meant fuck all to Nottingham Forest, those 2 players meant a lot to
Huddersfield.
It meant a lot to Huddersfield, and they're in big time trouble. And again, a couple of those names that are in there and around there, them, West Brom, Middlesbrough, they go down to League One. That could be fucking detrimental to them.
Happy for Sunderland, though, in 13th on 24 points with a +2.
Yeah, looking good. You know
That's
what?
not bad.
Steadily just get yourself back where you're supposed to be, you know?
Especially when your bitter rivals are fucking flying.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself back up. Because I do miss the time where derbies were don't miss television.
They're so much fun.
They were don't miss television.
Yeah, they're so
It was
so great
such
to
a good
watch.
game.
That's one of those ones I remember the early days of our show. We would just say like that's
Check
one to
it.
watch.
Go fucking find that
Like-
game. Yeah.
Like, you know.
We don't promote it, but like find an illegal stream. Like find the fucking game. It's worth a watch.
North London, Merseyside,
Yep.
the Northwest Derby between Man United and Liverpool. Like those are all great. Right up there in the top 5 is Tyne Ware. It absolutely is. Oh, all right. That's going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Sammy, any parting words?
Not really. Nobody really was a dicky-do.
Good. Very good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, nobody really did anything bad.
Well, good. We've talked long enough as it is. So next up is injury time, where we're going to go ahead and talk about the beers we've been drinking. We're going to check in on our adopted clubs, look into fantasy, and then preview the weekend's action. Should somebody want to find injury time, Sam, how do they go about doing it?
It's actually quite easy. It's just a $5 donation per month. I might add at www.patreon.com/DUFootballShow. And just sign up to that. You get both of our extra shows at Soundcheck, which is our actual Soundcheck. We just catch up from the weekend, check our levels, do some random shit, and then you get Injury Time, as Sam said, is our preview show. We go over the beers, we go over our adopted clubs, we go over a bunch of other shit, and it's a lot of fun. DU After Dark, as it's sometimes referred to. If you like the sex jokes, they're there.
Hey. Soundcheck. Cal Ripken said I got drip. That's all that matters.
Brazzers.
That's all that matters.
Brazzers.
My game, my suit game is stylish.
Everton Brazzers.
All right, everybody. Till next week.
Guten Nacht.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Brooklyn United! Brooklyn United! Hit the fucking mute button!